We live in a world that's just obsessed with constant motion, right? But today, we're going to flip that on its head and explore something really powerful, something kind of counterintuitive: the hidden intelligence of stillness.
All right, let's just dive right in with a quote that, well, it might make you a little uncomfortable. Constant busyness is often a sign of mental chaos. Whoa. I mean, that just flies in the face of everything we're taught about being productive and successful, doesn't it?
So, that contradiction, it brings up a huge question. If being busy can actually be a sign of chaos, then why? Why do we automatically look at thoughtful, quiet people and just slap the label lazy on them?
Well, to really get to the bottom of that, we've got to look at this powerful force in our culture. You could almost call it the cult of busyness. I mean, just think about it for a second. Our whole society celebrates motion. We praise the person who's always running around, always hustling, always doing something, right? Being busy has become this badge of honor, like a public performance to show how valuable and important you are.
But here's the thing. This obsession with looking busy, it creates a massive problem. It leads us straight to a really misleading and honestly often harmful label.
And it's kind of shocking how fast we make these judgments. You see someone who isn't constantly moving, and our brains just, they leap to conclusions, don't they? Lazy, unmotivated, slow, lacking ambition. We're totally mistaking a lack of external motion for a lack of internal drive. Okay, but here it is. This is the core idea we're digging into today. What if? What if that stillness isn't inactivity at all? What if it's actually something else entirely? Like a profound form of preparation. And this is where it gets super fascinating. Because this whole idea, it's not just some nice philosophy. Nope. It's actually backed by the science of how our brains really, truly work. So, psychology gives us this brilliant way to rethink what our culture just calls laziness. It's this concept of energy conservation. Think about it like an animal slowing down to get through the winter. In the same way, really intelligent people often dial down all that unnecessary mental movement. The constant chatter, the knee-jerk reactions, so they can save up and unleash their full brain power when it actually counts.
And this whole strategy, this conserving of energy, it's all to power up a super critical brain skill called executive function. You can literally think of it as your brain's CEO. It's the part of you that handles the big stuff, planning, prioritizing, and thinking about what's going to happen down the road. And here's the absolute key to all of this. To get that powerful CEO part of your brain to actually work, you need a calm nervous system. It's impossible to strategize or innovate or think deeply when your mind is just bouncing all over the place in a state of frantic reaction. And you can see the divide so clearly here. High-level thinking, it needs calm. That's where you get long-term planning and real deep solutions. But low-level thinking, man, that stuff is fueled by noise. It's totally reactive. It feels productive, for sure, because there's always something happening, but it's a clever way to avoid the hard, deep work that actually solves problems.
Okay, so how does this whole calm strategy versus frantic reaction thing actually play out in the real world? Let's make it concrete. Let's compare two kinds of workers: the truly productive one versus the merely performative one. First up, let's picture the busy worker. Come on, you know this person. They're like a human tornado of activity, always moving, keyboard clacking away, rushing from meeting to meeting, talking a mile a minute. They look like the poster child for productivity. Okay, now, let's picture the still worker. This person, they're just sitting there, quietly. Maybe they're just observing, thinking, jotting down a few careful notes. To anyone walking by, it probably looks like they're not doing a whole lot.
But when you put them side by side like this, whoa, a totally different picture emerges. On the outside, yeah, the busy worker looks productive and the still worker looks, well, lazy. But what's going on inside? The busy worker's mind is reactive and chaotic. The still worker's calm and focused. And the actual outcome? The busy worker just performs activity. The still worker, they're the one quietly building the actual solution.
Okay, so this brings us to the big takeaway, the final reframe, where we tie all of this together. What this really shows us is all the invisible work that's happening under that quiet surface. This isn't laziness, not even close. It's deep focus. They're actively protecting their attention, they're avoiding all that mental noise, and all the while, their mind is doing the heavy lifting, integrating information, connecting ideas, and even predicting what's going to happen next. So, really, it all boils down to this one powerful idea. What looks like laziness is often mental efficiency. It's not about slacking off. It's about being smart enough to save your best brain power for the stuff that really, truly matters. And so, in a world that is just obsessed with the performance of being busy, the real truth is often the complete opposite of what it looks like. Some of the smartest, most effective people out there, they actually move the least. And that leaves us with one final, big question for you to think about. In a world that is practically built for noise and nonstop distraction, how are you going to protect your stillness?